Howdy. We're moving on to video 2 for chapter 21 on change management. Stick with me now. Now, again, this chapter is emphasizing software configuration, change management, configuration management. So look through these. The developer checks out source code. By that, it means checks it out of some kind of library, modifies it, checks it back, notifies the build master. There's a certain checking that goes on, testing and QA. I don't know the current systems being used. I know what systems I used to use when I did this for a living. I'm sure they've all been replaced. But basically what I want you to get out here is this is a change control workflow. This is an orderly process. You check it out, which means while I'm changing the source code, someone else isn't changing another version, and our versions, they put theirs back and I put mine back, and it has my changes but not theirs. And it proceeds as follows, just as it says. Check it out, modifies it, checks it back in, notifies the build master. Then they're going to do a new build. They're going to go through their process to verify and validate. By the way, I hope you all know as software engineers the difference between the words verification and validation. Very important. Not in this class, but it's still very important for you. Verification of the software code means you check that the code is working correctly. Validation is a larger scope. You check that the code actually meets the requirements. So verification, did I build the product right? Validation, did I build the right product? Okay? And you're going to do both of these throughout your system development lifecycle. This is just laying out the process again, where you go through, check in, check out, test, build, release for operation. You always have to have a backup plan. What if something has an unintended consequence? And so you restore back to a system that you know works. So this is taking our baseline chapter where we talked about baselining, where we talked about backups. This is incorporating all of those notions into this process. Now, this is very important. I have worked in consulting, and this is part of good configuration management. You have a change control board. Typically, in the vernacular of risk assessment, it's your system owner. It's a security official. The system owner is that person who ultimately owns and makes the decisions about the data. The security officer is someone whose primary purpose is to check the security, one or two others. So it facilitates good management oversights, but it also facilitates better coordination. When I first started my first software company, we're basically hacking code and we're putting it out there, and we didn't have this process in place, and you soon learn that doesn't work. So it convenes on a regular basis, as I said before, typically weekly, but on an emergency or as-needed basis as well. And so you say, hey, this is a nice to have, or this is a big problem. So the systems report to the change control board. They not only approve the changes, but they come up with an orderly schedule and process. Some of them may be 6 months, some of them may be today, some of them may be 2 weeks, however it's done. It's very important. You can do your system problem report. Many of you are probably sitting there thinking, oh, this seems so cumbersome. Well, as I told my class in risk assessment this spring when they had some criticisms of a guest speaker who had worked, 40 years in the field, please email me after you've been on the job 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years, and you will begin to agree more and more with that. So if you're going to make software design, coding, products, whatever, as you're living, this is something you want to save your heartache if you institute these kind of processes earlier rather than later. So the system product problem report is just that. It's a formal mechanism, typically online. I'm going to just submit a form online. Hey, this is the problem I've had. This was the input I put in. This is the output I got out, what have you. Okay, and here's a typical one, And so this shows the entire change management process and its relationship to incident management and release management. So again, not that important to me. You've got a ticket or a problem report. You escalate and assign it to a team. You assess. You resolve the problem. You close out the ticket. These are all processes in place. So when you talk for code integrity, that's where I'm talking about verification and validation. You don't have something that immediately goes to production. You have some kind of test, digital sign box or something. You have a testing procedure. You have white box, black box, fuzzy testing, different kind of testing. And what he says here is true. Automated change management systems greatly simplified this process. And in today's networked environment, the integrity of the executed code is critical, obviously. A couple of years ago, someone pulled open source that they legitimately owned, and it had 11 lines of critical code that was being used in open source for, companies like Amazon, eBay, and the like. So our interoperability, how things all connect together. So the integrity of the code is critical, and also knowing what your code depends on is critical, okay? So notice the words he uses here. Executed code integrity can be verified using host-based intrusion detection systems, smaller scope, and verification. Is this doing this correctly? Because if I can replace key system executable code with modified code with backdoors or something, then I'm going to be in the system. We talked about the CMMI. I cannot overemphasize the importance. This should be on your regular, let's check out and see what they're doing, website searches. They have different ones, acquisition, development, services, user interfaces. I'm not going to go through these. Originally, I think SEI was formed in the mid-'80s. There was one CMM, and then they started breaking it out. There's a number of them beyond the scope of this course. Other than you should know what it is and that it supports this developmental, orderly change management process. And again, the maturity levels, or the initials, kind of ad hoc. 2, it's better managed. 3, you have processes defined. 4, you have them quantitatively managed. 5, you're optimizing it. This is the same maturity levels, pervasive, 1 through 5, 1 being chaotic, 5 being more organized, efficient, and the like. And as I said earlier, very few companies achieve level 5 in any of this. So the elements of change management: identifying the configurations, controlling them, accounting for them, auditing them, same thing over and over. That's our chapter. It's a quick walk through 21. We're going to proceed to chapter 22, 23, 24, 25, and then we're finished with the course. So again, email me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you.